Greetings and salutations. How we doing?
What's happening?
I've been listening to your YouTube recommendation for Evan Lolly.
Yeah, that song was kind of perfect for the tone of their relationship.
The good old chat room days.
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago, but it's been since V5 came out.
It doesn't seem like that long, but it's been around long enough.
It's because books come out so slowly, it seems like it's young.
Hey, Noble, how we doing?
Oh, just hanging out.
Yeah. That I do. Hi, Don, how we doing?
I'm like, what the fuck did I walk into?
He's spying. It's fine. No, what's her name? Let me scroll down here. Oh, that was the sex clown, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So back when it exploded, it got redid. They sent me a note. It's like, here's an invite. Whatever.
And speaking of Hakata, the Hakata on that we've seen in play are hilariously all over the map. There's not just one flavor of Hakata.
Right.
And almost none of them that we ever see in play want to actually be from the Giovanni clan. They all want to be Nagaraja and the other shit.
No.
There's one guy that has the name Giovanni.
But out of all the Hakata that we've had, he's the first one.
You know, Giovanni's a dirty name. Who wants to name their kid Johnny?
Right.
The ironic thing being that before they folded them into the Hakata, there were probably a dozen Nagaraja in the whole world. Now there's thousands.
Yeah. Everybody needs to be special and different. And you know what I didn't check? And yeah, those were ghost hunters, D.
So they were filming.
Yeah.
Oh, masquerade breach on so many levels.
Yes. And
Hooray.
I was waiting for someone to put it together, but no one bothered. So.
In Orleans.
No, on the coast. The catalyst, the tearing of the shroud when the storm of specters came pouring through, because for the first time in the entirety of Black Creek being utilized as a board, someone mentioned the Pater by name. You know, one of the people responsible for most of the ghosts that are there. Not the bodies that were dumped there, but most of the actual spirits and race, the living,
Right.
formerly living. Someone mentioned him by name in Black Creek, so they riled themselves up, caused a shroud storm, and tore through, which was a catalyzing event.
Fabulous. Oh, speaking of, is Soon still utilizing sprites?
Yeah.
You went back and you noticed that it was a spy for Remy, right?
Yeah.
Why would they send her out there without a spy?
I didn't touch on it specifically because the player has shown a lack of interest in pursuing anything not 100% self-directed. So that's one of the reasons why I shut down the Wraith Storm that they were in and just moved it, because Gregorio was interested and was willing to pursue, and it was one-sided, so I made it so that it was an opportunity for him to be invested in and deal with it, but not have to deal with the full brunt of it there.
Got it.
And it's also a reason why I twisted it so that it wasn't Sprite, but Baz who knew. Remy already knows, and is giving the whole adage of give them enough rope, they'll either pull themselves up or they'll hang themselves.
Very nice.
But yeah, and I forgot to check real life considerations. Was the 10th one of the days that we will be missing? Nope. So this is one of the days that's going to be late.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. First and the third, and then late, and then leaving early. So yeah, this is one of the days that's going to be late. Cool. Yeah. Just wanted to make sure. I hadn't bothered to check. I wasn't sure. And start talking to Greg, and he would find it intellectually stimulating the idea of Leah. So we are just a few minutes past hard start. I need to grab a drink because I've been near the computer and not doing what I should have been doing. So prepare what questions you have and give me 4.5 minutes and I'll be right back.
Okay. So how have you been, Hess? Miriam's okay.
But is she though?
I mean, compared to some of the other people she hangs out with, yeah.
I mean, being casually acceptant of violence is just a step down the road.
All right. So, this is our season finale.
Is it?
It is. Next week, the last episode of season 19 as our epilogue. Normally by this time I've already gone back over the episodes and picked out a few songs with themes reminiscent to some of the things that we've covered over the season. I have not done that as of yet. I'll probably get that done in the next couple of days. But in your individual estimation, where do you all think this rates in regards to the seasons that this coterie in one form or another has survived up until now?
Not the most dangerous thing they've ever lived through. I mean, it's still pretty emotional and kind of fraught with problems, but they've been through some tougher things. They've had some times where it's just like, oh, okay, are they really going to make it through this or not? So, not too bad, but yeah.
I mean, they survived Sophia, so...
Have they, though? She's still out there.
She is. And with the Voivod of the South all but openly declaring that Thornton Township is officially another protectorate, another tower city, there's a lot of room because the agreement is still standing. And she has a foothold into that enclave of Hakata, their national network, their own contest of champions that they're waging against each other for the betterment of the entirety of Hakata. There's a lot of work that's being done in the background that, well,
I suppose at some point we should probably go down and pay him a visit to find out what he actually wants from us. At some point. You know, boon and everything that we never actually used.
Yeah, all of that lovely intelligence you all have and weighs in. But we are comfortably past our hard start. We are well into more than fashionably late. It's the point where the characters in their present moment where we left them are looking at their watches wondering where we are. And if Lucio manages to make it, we will just slot him in wherever he is in the background, standing broodingly, watching the happenings. But for now, I think that
maybe he's going to jump in and get a snack with Miriam.
So we know where we are. We know where the characters were last left, with what they were considering, with everything that's there before them. We have an understanding as to where the coterie, in regards to their wide, expansive history of seasons are. And I don't believe we do, but just in case, what questions, suggestions, hypotheses, or corners do we need to round off? Excellent. Our second best friend, Silence and Understanding, that we are reading out of the same book, if not the same chapter, verse, and page. And so, as always, my thanks for sharing this hobby, putting up with me waxing non-philosophically about this hobby of ours, and getting to know these characters, their histories, and you all individually. Without much further ado, this is Soup City Sins, Season 19, Finale, Chaperoning Sempiternally. There has not been a party that the coterie has been to where some catastrophe has not arisen. There's not been a gathering of kindred with the coterie being present that has not resulted in harm of one shape, fashion, or form, be it physical outright harm as when they were assaulted Jason Newberry, whether it is the social stigma of being the party members to flee the gathering, whether it was the emotional damage caused by, at the party, Lucio purposefully crossing a line he set for himself and killing, gruesomely and graphically, a thin blood who was unarmed, who was not physically accosting nor threatening his life. Or the moment when Hestia crossed the line and took a life, not out of a sense of survival, but in light of simply being frustrated and fed up with the current lot that she was experiencing, hoping that it changed her stars, as it were. Or Dizzy, no longer with us, sitting in on the very real foundations of a rebellion against the tower from within. Right down to the last party the coterie was involved with, though not directly present, where the hopes and dreams of those who count on them for their daily bread and continued existence were not only shattered but trampled by the Chicago police. Parties have always been a bad thing for this particular group of kindred, in all of its many and myriad forms over the years. This party, where they are gathered in this enclave of outsiders and rabble-rousers and free thinkers and musicians and artists, madmen and women, spending time together. So we pick up where we last left. Lolly. Inches away from Evan. Evan. Oh, so very close. And the manner and seeming that is wearing him, one that remembers all of that long maligned history that they shared. Eye to eye, presence to presence, aura to aura, and it's weird. The old saying, the old aphorism of any port in a storm. And Lolly currently is in the midst of a storm. These warmongering kindred who willingly use that final decision, that brass judgment, who are willing to bleed and be bled for their beliefs in the moment. These monsters of the Midway that on every occasion they can prove the rumors are both true and wholly underwhelming as to what they actually do. So, you want to head up to the roof?
She stands there, still covering her mouth, looks at him, looks back over her shoulder, and then reaches out for his hand.
Every zoo worth its salt has a multiplicity of signs all over the place about not touching the animals. Don't reach between the bars. Don't feed the animals. Don't tease or antagonize the animals. Don't forget that these creatures, these animals, are in fact uncivilized. They are in fact wild. It's everywhere you look. Everywhere that it is easily viewable, that you can be stated to have been warned, there is a warning there. Evan doesn't carry such warnings about his person, though Lolly has the memories to warn her as such, because the moment that her slightly cool dead flesh touches his slightly cool dead flesh, there is connection. There is an immediate understanding. Would you be so kind as to roll your resolve plus dominate? DC 3.
Let's see if thirst is working today. And it looks like no.
We will have to get rid of it and reinstall it, as it were. Re-invite it back to our little corner of the world here. But for now, try at thirst one last time, and then we'll use one of the others.
Yeah, I was already typing there.
Oh, no worries. There is a connection. It's nowhere near as overwhelming as it has been in the past, and is nowhere near as violating of who you are, making you lost in the moment, but it is still there. And because it is, in fact, so dampened, it's all the more bittersweet for it, because this is your solace, this is your sanctuary, this is your reprieve from the world around you. All that matters, everything that exists, is in this moment, this connection. And you see him seeing you, seeing him watching you be seen and understood. Even whatever seeming is presently in the driver's seat, there is that heat and weight of comfort against the world. Because every relationship boils down, at least those of lasting value and lasting merit, boils down to a witness to your existence, a witness to your presence, your life, and you as a whole. Being seen, being heard, and being understood is the gateway through all of those positive feelings that come from being loved and loving originate. And that is the bare foundation of what a relationship is. Someone who gets you. They don't have to agree with you. And in many ways they shouldn't, and oftentimes don't. But they see you. They hear you. They know you. And still put up with you anyway. And this is what Lolly experiences in that moment of connection, that brief touch. That's all it takes. To know that it's still there. To know that that good old-fashioned razzle-dazzle magic of the past still there to be had if but you reach out and grab it. And this nation of two, mad though they are, slip between the crowds, the hustle and bustle of people experiencing their night, trying to, for the first time for many, live without rules, to live without boundaries, to embrace what it means to be themselves. And as the two mad ones slip off, disappearing into the crowd, up the back stairs, out onto the roof, Miriam. And this mix and tangle of bodies and drives, what is it that you are attempting to do?
Oh, just a snack.
Do tell. Because the fruit of so many trees, the essence of so many lives are bounding and pogoing and conversing and nearly everywhere around you. Everyone is in their own world together. Some share a continent, some share a solar system, some just simply share existence. But in this moment, Miriam, how does she choose to indulge? How does she get that which she craves?
Well, she is a siren. In this particular situation, I believe she would be indulging that. Easy enough.
In this crowd of outsiders who choose to break the rules, who choose PDA, who choose to be or try to find a way to choose to be themselves, connecting with another person, as strange though it is to say, is an easy thing for Miriam. She's always had a humanistic approach to things, including the sensuality of relating. It has nothing to do with sex specifically, which is what a lot of individuals miss. It's the difference between the levels of horror. The base, cheapest version of horror is simply gore. But real horror crawls inside and lives with you long after you've put down the book, long after you've turned off the screen, long after you've walked out of the movie theater. Real horror sits with you because it causes your mind and your emotions to go into those dark places. It causes you to think on those moments. And as a siren, she understands that that same level exists for feeding. On the cheapest, easiest, the common denominator, the lowest level of sensuality is sex. It's physical. It's wham bam if you're lucky. Or worse, depressingly, not even a sparkler's worth of excitement. It's just cold and robotic, going through the motions, driving the friction of touch to have you get the saddest, smallest release of endorphins. But that's the lowest base level. Real sensuality, real relating, it's far deeper. Because sirens the world around understand that the real essence of love doesn't come for them. Doesn't begin with them, doesn't end with them. The real essence of love is getting the other person to understand that it is okay for them to feel the love which is already present in them. It's leading the water to the horse. It is the opposite of what most people believe it is. Yeah, you get butterflies in your stomach with a touch. Yeah, a look could cause certain libidos to raise. Yes, a picture of someone's ankle or calf can get them going, but for it to matter, you have to connect with them on a level that makes them understand it is okay. It's okay to let the love and feelings they already have out. And being an old hand at it, being a practiced observer of humanity, Miriam finds her target. A young thing, as far as such things go. Just above the age of fixed identity. Somewhere just north of 25, the brain has finally stopped shifting and changing and responding to the chemicals as if that is all there is in the world. The realities and mundanity of the world have settled in. They know how things work, at least the generalized idea of it. And they're just old enough where they understand that Peter Pan was in fact the villain of the story. They haven't stopped loving the boy yet. They do understand that he was in fact the villain. They do understand that dreams without effort and a plan can be just as heartbreaking as all the failures of the world. And they stand there, their hair shoe-blacked, their nails painted their coat, far more expensive than their brethren and sisters throughout the party, because they have a real job, unfortunately, one that they won't just up and walk away from. And you see them, the nervous twitch, the need for nicotine, the need for connection. And while they're vibing to the music, they're just old enough to realize how all of this means nothing. They're not going to paint their masterpiece. They're not going to write their song. They're not going to write the great American novel. They're not going to be social media famous. They're just old enough to realize that their dreams that they've had need to be modified. They're just old enough to understand what being alone is versus being lonely. And she sees them. She knows what they need and what they crave. To crossing the distance to them, how does she make her approach?
Miriam will gently tap them on the shoulder and offer a hand. Just an offer to dance.
Every room has its own sound. Every space has its own feeling and energy. And somehow, Miriam changes that for this particular person. Would you be so kind as to roll your charisma and persuasion, or your charisma and presence, as you brighten the room for them? You change the discordant notes all around them to something they can dance to, something they understand. You, in that small offering, make a difference in their night. The mountain not only comes to Muhammad, but begins building itself. There is a quick, brief flash, first of surprise and shock, and then taking you in. The soft, lilting smile, the warmth in the eyes, the willingness to make a difference. And just there, dancing at the corner of their eyes, is a twinkling idea of who they once were. Hopes, dreams, aspirations, the whole of the world ahead of them, long before their quarter-life crisis. And you all make your way to the floor. What counts as a floor? The space cleared out of bodies where people are not standing in the way. And the swell of a song starts, a slightly slower song, not quite as loud as all of the others before. The band begins picking their way through the song, building a little speed, melding their tempo. And for the first time since you've all been in the party, it doesn't sound like pans being thrown down the stairs to the accompaniment of a bass line. And speaking of bass line, Hestia, the history of the Coda River parties is never far from your mind. In fact, you do miss the fact that Critias's limo was quite comfortable both times you've all made away with it. The seats were warmed, you had the cameras and sound system, you had the wet bar. He really went all out for his vehicles. It'd be nice to be able to escape this moment and all the pressure sitting on the shelter's shoulders in such a vehicle. To take a vacation, as it were, to head down south or head out west, or just simply drive until you run out of gas. It would be a good time for that. But such things are not in the cards. Such things are not for those with responsibilities, those with roots placed, people that depend on them. Having seen the regent, having taken in the shock of that casual attired master of mysticism in the city of Chicago, what is it that is foremost on Hesh's mind?
She's mostly focusing on the fact of what Damien recommended they do, because they definitely could use some official friends, as it were. So she's kind of schmoozing Catherine a bit, and kind of glances back, noticing that Everett is missing, or Evan. Why do I keep calling him Everett? Evan is missing, and trying to remember the one other person that she wanted to speak with. But yeah, mostly giving Catherine the attention and trying to give them a good impression of them as a whole so that they'll want to help.
So she spends her time getting to know Kathy. It's amazing what one can find out in a simple conversation. Having known Simone, having befriended Rizzoli, knowing being used by Brett and ignored by Annabelle, it is difficult to imagine Kathy being of the exact same ilk. It is difficult to imagine this relatively down-to-earth outsider such that she is being in the same vitae-blooded relation as either or any of them. Rizzuli's big, brash, and bright as life. Annabelle, the hidden blade, the sarcasm, the wit, the cutting down of someone and making them thank her for it. And then Brett, a failed combination of both of those things. Big enough and bright enough to be the standout. Sly and deceitful enough to occasionally get one or two over on individuals that he finds in his path. And then Simone, almost the antithesis to all of that sly scheming that most people expect or that you understand is at the heart of the Roses. And here is Kathy talking about Joan Jett, talking about the Renegades, talking about how music has changed without changing all that much, where the tempos move and shift always from faster to slower as musicians age, and as their demographic grows, so too do they. Talking about how you can change the world with the right song. It is not refreshing. It's shocking. Not at all what one would expect in talking to a purported challenger for up-and-coming toreadors of the city, up-and-coming members of the Clan of the Rose. She seems, for the most part, focused on the growth and expansion of Baby Chorus first and foremost, and the growth and expansion of anything else 10th, 11th, in line with all that's necessary. Like the set they're going to play, they've been, oh my God, you understand, they gave us a headliner status at Miller Field. They're building this huge stage just for us. There's a couple of opening acts, nothing all that great, and I'm not exactly fond of being paired with a hip-hop group that uses canned music, but we are the headliners. Do you realize it has been 30 years since we've played in Milwaukee and we've never been headliners? The last time we were there, we sold out the venue we were at and we were just the opening act. Do you know what this means? Prince Decker doesn't allow travel like that. Oh my God, do you realize how big this is? We are literally on the precipice of... It's hard to even imagine what this could mean. Do you know what that would do for us?
It's all like super exciting, I can tell. Like, I mean, that's unprecedented. Decker letting you guys in Milwaukee after all this time. I heard he had like completely shut the place down, and for you guys to be the first ones allowed back and then, you know, headliners, like you said, that's pretty fucking amazing. I mean, you guys are just that talented, maybe, but wow, impressive.
And she pulls out her phone, and your heart breaks a little bit because the phone is older than 9 out of 10 of the burners that you break, cast off, drop out of windows. And it's clear from the scratches along the edges that it is in fact cherished by her. And she uses the buttons, the triple pushing to get to the C or the F to type in Miller Stadium and bring up the ticket sales, and it's in that greenish off color full color screen that went out of style somewhere in the realm of 2002. And you can tell the way that she turns so that it's resting just against her body so that the light doesn't reflect off so no one else notices it. And she's showing how many ticket sales she has on a phone that is older than most of the neonates that have floated through the space. It's older than most of the upwardly mobile kindred that have flown through or come abreast or touched anything that the shelter has been involved with. And when she sees you looking at the phone, she doesn't think that you're looking down on the level of technology. She puts her finger to her lips. Shh, it's just, I don't have anything incriminating on here. And she continues typing and showing you the ticket sales. And right now, they're roughly at 60% capacity for the entirety of the stadium.
Does not dissuade her from her thoughts about why Hess is giving her that look about the phone. And it stops her from offering to give her one of the burners and show her how to switch out the SIM card. But she just kind of nods. Oh, I won't tell anybody, I mean, obviously. Who doesn't use a cell phone when they're not supposed to, you know what I mean? But yeah, that's really exciting. I mean, I really wish I could go, but you know, we got things here that are going on and I can't really get away right now. So that, you know, I bet you guys are gonna like kick ass and stuff, so it's not cool to say good luck, right? It's supposed to be break a leg, if I remember.
Oh my God, thanks so much, but it's not all about us, unfortunately. We're taking 2 crates of something we're not supposed to know with us. Damien insists it's the only way. Like, what do you know about beer?
Beer. I haven't had a good one in a long time since that one Ethiopian restaurant that's over there.
No, I mean, like, can you tell, like, if something's gonna be, like, important or, like, if it's gonna be a good brand? I even when I could drink, I didn't really drink beer. I had, a couple of vodka sodas every once in a while, but it we weren't supposed to look. I looked. It's like a homemade label, and I could swear that like it. I don't know. I don't know whether it's Chinese really or Japanese really, but some of the writing on the side, it's in English for the most part, but then there's this little writing along the side on the left side of the bottle. And I was looking at the artwork because you get inspiration from almost anywhere, and I don't remember a shield maiden that looked like that. Like the did you watch that show Vikings with like Lagertha and the guy that played Tarzan with Lucy Lawless? He's in it, but he's got like this full beard. And the guy that played the young Liam Neeson in that Taken TV show, I don't know when they filmed it. I didn't bother to look or pay too much attention to it, but it's like I can swear that the central figure that's on there is like a shield maiden, like a Norse something.
Has a sinking feeling, but she's trying not to show it. You said you thought it might be Chinese?
Yeah, some of the writing is in Chinese, and I've never bothered to read it, and I can't like get a picture of it. But it's
I think I've heard of that brand before, yeah.
But why would Ballard pressure Damien to take it with him?
Wait, who is pressuring him to take it with him?
Ballard.
Oh, fuck. I don't know what he's up to. I really don't. But I have not the best feeling about the fact that it is him that's pushing Damien to take this with him. I'm not saying you should say anything to Damien because obviously you're not supposed to know about it either.
Oh yeah, no, he won't mind. I'm gonna pull his ear anyway. He keeps insisting for us to print up t-shirts, but all of our t-shirts are fine the way that they are. I designed them myself. They're perfectly okay. Let me go find some for you and show you.
Okay. Yeah, we'll be here.
And as she takes a flying header into the crowd, moving with the move, shifting and dancing and gesticulating bodies, as spirits soar and these outsiders find some temporary communal identity. You've got your emos, you got your full-fledged goths, you have your metalheads, you have your thrashers, you have your ska hop individuals, you have your hip-hop influenced members of the crowd, you have your just from reggaeton to trip hop in this space. Various styles and shades of leather and black, and there's more than a few speckles of pink and green and light neon colors thrown in as well. You swear to God you saw someone walk in with a full black and white clown makeup, but you can't be too sure with this crowd because, most people are wearing foundation or a base that makes them seem lighter than they normally are. But you swore you saw someone walk in with black and white clown makeup. And speaking of clowns, their need to be seen and appreciated, and their need to spread whatever it is that they think is important, be it sorrow or joy or some state in between, we find ourselves on the roof of the apartment, which is really a condo. Having climbed the steps in the last 10 feet of the ladder up to the actual roof, not just to the back porch, not just to the front deck that looks down over Milwaukee. No, to the tip-top roof of the building, above where the music is anything more than its bass, causing the building to vibrate with the amplified noise and harmonies the band are getting up to inside. The wind seems quieter. It seems soothing, as if it wants, in fact, to give you all the wings necessary to soar over all of your troubles. The moon is high and the stars wave at you as they twinkle. And here, where all you can feel is the music, and you can hear the faint echoes of the street, which seems like a million miles away, and it's just you and Evan. You seem like you're in a little bit of trouble.
Maybe.
And it's not trouble you've started.
Definitely not this time.
And you won't tell me who did this to you.
Was doing a favor for Damien.
Cosmo was no friend of yours. He appreciates you, I'm sure. It's impossible to not appreciate you. But people don't really value anything they appreciate. And he takes a step closer to the edge, looking down at the street below, the yellow tinged light making his eyes seem to shift color from blue to hazel to a darker green. And you know that it's just a trick of the light. You know that it's just the way it seems. It can't be what's actually happening. Eye color doesn't change like that. And not between three. Oh, is that brown? That's brown. Caramel color. Something must have passed that reflected the light so that it appeared that way.
He wanted me to help some people, but I don't think they can be helped.
Well,
I don't think they want to be helped. I think they're happy where they are.
have you tried making it worse for them?
I don't have that in me.
And that's why people hire others.
They're kind of a bunch of psychopaths.
Maybe you can educate them, turn them into sociopaths.
Would that be any better?
Yes. There'd be an inherent value to things. There'd be an understanding that this is all a game for most. And he reaches out his hand towards you once more as he takes another step closer to the edge.
She will follow him.
The moment you touch his hand and take his hand in yours, he steps up onto the actual edge of the building, pulling you up with him. It's funny. I didn't know that I would see you again. You know, baby choruses preparing to risk their lives because Kathy and Cosmo want baby chorus to be famous again. They want Baby Chorus to not simply play dive bars in Chicago. They believe that putting their lives at risk, driving on the expressway, is the best thing to do. I don't understand that if anything were to happen to them, just like when you left, I will not be the same.
It's not a bad thing to want and to dream for better.
It's a bad thing to put immortality on the line for the fleetingest of fleeting things. Fame. You and I could be famous right now. And he looks at the concrete. Almost 45 feet away from where you all are standing on top of the roof of Gingaz's condo. It'd go away in a few days, but it'd come back every few months when someone thought about what it was that we dared. Now, we could be famous. And is it worth the potential of forever to be famous? And he looks at the concrete again and then looks towards you. His blue eyes twinkling with all the light of the stars over your head, almost as if the light pollution from the street lights and the cars below don't matter at all.
You're starting to remind me why we have to stay away from each other.
We don't have to. We should. Why should we play by the rules of people who don't care enough?
It's true, he's not here to make it anymore, but I really don't want to jump off this building, Evan.
Why would we jump? We can just close our eyes, watch the stars spin up and away. But jumping requires effort. It requires it being more important than our forever. And it's not. You're right. It is not at all worth jumping.
It's different, though. The fall in the concrete doesn't mean anything to us. What good is a life or an unlife if it has no purpose or hope?
My point exactly. Why are they risking our immortality, our love of them, for something as useless as fame? Do you know I've been famous? I have been famous several handfuls of time. Even right now, my book is a New York Times bestseller. Though that's not my book. It's a book I wrote. But it wasn't me. I'm famous. They're famous enough. They have Prince Jackson shutting down portions of the city so that they can play the music that ruined me. I asked them not to play your favorite song whenever I'm around. I made them stop playing it. And it took a lot of effort. Kathy was determined. But they finally stopped. And then you started showing up at every show. And they start playing it again. And even when I'm not there. I can hear it when they play it. And you weren't around. Me. And my best friends in the world chose you. They chose right, of course, but it's still... Which one do you think is the North Star, considering we're on the north side of Chicago? And he looks skyward.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean for all that to happen. She says casually as she also scans the sky.
It's amazing what you forget. With a little distance, with a little absence. It's amazing what you get accustomed to. And until now, until standing here staring into the Chicago night sky, watching the evening slowly and inexorably move, that you realize that outside of Evan, and outside of very rare few items that you find in places like Walmart and Target that have been untouched, that have been wrapped in plastic and shipped across the sea, that you have not touched anything without fear, that you have not dared to touch anyone else without fear of learning what most hurt them, what matters most to them, what will hurt them deeply, what will cause traumatic psychic backlash to them and vicariously to you. Yet here you stand, hand in hand with Evan, watching the celestial bodies move as only they can, hundreds of thousands of millions of years in our past. It's only now that you realize that you're touching. There's no fear, there's no backlash, there's no sharing of darkness. There is just the stars, Evan, you, and the street below. Speaking of streets below, as you two move and contort and dance through the band, who seems to be getting into their full stride. There are no Mozart, there are no Beyonce, there are no Marvin Gaye or anyone else who's been famous and good at their art, practiced to the level that they can wow and amaze crowds of the world round. They're not that caliber of musician. They are, in fact, as they slowly get into gear and their harmonies are lining up, clearly good musicians individually. It is the working together that they seem to have an issue with. The drummers racing ahead a little bit, causing the tempo to be faster than the lead guitarist would like. The second lead guitarist is able to not only keep up, but race a little bit ahead of the drummer. And the third lead guitarist is finding his pace half a second just a little too slow for the drummer, while the bassist is perfectly on time. It shouldn't work, but in this closed-in space and it being live, it works well enough. And as you dance and they furtively catch your eye and look away and smile, and then look towards your brow and then down towards your chin, and then they look away still dancing, they lean in. So I normally wouldn't ask, but what's your name?
It's Miriam, darling.
Oh my God, my don't take this the wrong way, but my first grade teacher who I had a crush on, her name was Miriam. We call her Miss Miri. Anybody call you Miri?
Only those very close to me.
Oh my God. They're picking up speed a little bit. You want to go get a drink?
Yes, let's. She'll offer her arm.
They slip theirs into yours. They're a little clearly nervous.
With my hand, pat their hand.
Moments later, having moved through the press of bodies, finding yourself in the bar area, which is literally nothing more than 8 college dorm size refrigerators filled with various this, that, and the other, all alcoholic. I normally don't laugh. I normally drink Jack and Cokes, you know, the bottles that they sell, but they don't have any of that. They do have these little cans, these Trulies. You want to try one? We can split it.
Sounds delicious.
All right. Lime, orange, or ooh, look, this one has strawberry in it.
Pink strawberry.
I thought so too. And as they think about grabbing 2, now maybe we should leave some for somebody else. And they open one, and they come from back behind the bar area. This is well, my friends call me Kai. This is my first time here, but like that Genghis dude, I thought he was gonna kick my ass, but he invited me back. Do you know him or the band?
Briefly, I've met him. He seems an interesting sort.
He's kind of cool, a little scary, but you know, this is a great party. I haven't got a chance to get out in 9-10 months. Don't worry about that. What about you? And they take a sip and pass the can to you.
She will pretend to take a sip, bring the can to her lips, and swallow air. No, please, what's been occupying your time?
I got this job. Like, I always loved like computers and playing around. You know, like have you ever used GIMP?
I've not used GIMP.
Okay, so it's like a really cool art program. And so I don't know how they even found me. Like, to be perfectly honest, I was working at White Hand Pantry, and then this guy, really nervous guy, like a doctor guy, I thought he was hitting on me, but he was wanted to get to know me and offer me a job, and so I took it. And so every day I gotta get up at 5:30 and drive all the way to the Indiana border. There's a little town that's literally right on the border. I drive down there every day to use GIMP and do graphic design for I'm talking your ear off. I'm sorry.
No.
It's a good job. I shouldn't be complaining, but I think I'm gonna quit soon. That's what this party is for me anyway, because driving all the way down to Lansing is hard every day. and I thought that I could like get there faster taking the Skyway, but it just takes forever, and all the construction. And why would a church need a graphic design artist? I'm not like a real artist or anything, and they pay me really well, but 5:30 in the morning?
And they won't let you do it remotely?
No, something about like only using their computer, and everything stays there. I don't even have anything to show for like my portfolio, and every day. And I don't care how nice Miss Urzuli is. It's too much. I'm gonna quit.
Miss Urzuli, you say?
Yeah, she's like the social director for this church that they're having me do like some of everything. Honestly, I'm not gonna even like try to like talk your ear off about that, but it's just everything I do doesn't seem to be like enough.
She wants excellence.
No, it's like she's making it hard on purpose. Reminds me of my old man talking about, pain is just weakness leaving the body, and she doesn't say that, but it's. I'm tired. Yeah, I'm gonna quit. I'm gonna quit. Like, first thing tomorrow, I'm gonna quit. I'm not going in. I'm not gonna go and sit at some desk and be told that I'm sorry. And they hang their head and wipe their face, and absently they're drinking the Truly can, and it's having far more effect than it should. And like their tongue is getting looser and looser by the second.
Fine. Miriam will gently grab Kai by the chin and lift her head. Have you considered that she believes you're capable of more than what you think you are? She pushes you hard because she wants you to succeed.
Can I hug you?
Absolutely.
And as they throw their arm around you and rest against you, body to body, in that deep, long, full body hug that is horribly inappropriate. It's somehow the most intimate thing that you could do in a place where others' eyes and ears are present. It is that needing of touch so deeply that if you were even remotely half as dark as any of the other kindred around you, taking a little bit of blood would be the last thing on your list. The first thing would be to own this person who is so touch starved that this is an epiphany. This is a moment that reinforces the validity of your words. You have just converted a non-believer into an acolyte for a religion that you say you're not part of. You've won them over. You all but own them in this moment, and their warmth against your skin and the openness of their mind and heart is its own little bit of drug. Just a hit, just enough to take the edge off. And you realize as many people are watching, more are not watching. In this dark moment, an exchange of touch would go unnoticed by more than anything else than a small public display of affection.
Miriam will reach up and gently pet her hair, offering comfort in the moment.
And what is Miriam's hunger at right now?
It's only a 2.
Oh, only a 2? That's where the troubles begin. That's where that quiet, ever whispering voice at the back of your head begins to crawl between rational thought and irrational action, opening the door for desperate action. That's where it starts nibbling at the edges. And they smell like yours. It would take no effort at all to push that last domino and own them. And speaking of being owned, there's not been a successful party you have been to in years, Lucio. There's not been a successful party where the coterie, in any iteration of the coterie, has survived congregating and associating with other kindred in a venue that is supposed to be, well, a party. It's a celebration. There should be a reason. And there always is a reason to celebrate. Yet for the coterie, that celebration usually ends in violence of some sort. Physical, emotional, mental. And not for the first time, you all are in Gingiz's condo. Not for the first time, you've all had to make deals with the devil to assure you have a tomorrow. And not for the first time, all of these things have conflated, blocking off any visible option save one foot in front of the other, bumbling and stumbling and diving forward into the chaos that comes, almost as if you all are a magnet for it. And as the partiers do what partiers do, and as the band plays louder than they need to, which is what bands tend to do at house parties, you find yourself relatively alone. Hesha's not visible in the crowd in the direction that she went. You're not sure where Lolly got off to. And Miriam walked past you about 20 minutes ago. You're not sure where they were going. But here you stand watching kindred, kind, ghoul, and outsider of every stripe mix and mingle. It's absolutely anarchy. Cats are laying down with dogs. Lambs are bullying lions. It is a madhouse of activity. What is it that you're doing?
Parties were never really Lucio's scene. He was never really the kind of person to try and socialize at a party, and all of his attempts thus far to do so have either ended in awkwardness or death. So, for the time being, Lucio is going to be content with observing the situation, at least until his 3 dots of hunger start to get the better of him. Until then, though, he's mainly trying to just evaluate their situation in his mind and figure out what exactly the next course of action is, where exactly their next step forward should be.
Excellent. So, touring the landscape mentally, mapping out landmarks and exits and escapes, and trying to analyze where they are without the bias that is inherent. On every instance, in every opportunity where they have had the misfortune of being faced with death, as a reward, they have pulled out a victory. In every situation where they were outnumbered, outgunned, the enemy, and there were and are an entire army of them out there in the night, has them cornered. The coterie always finds that boat hole, always finds that escape. It is hard to not take that as a automatic given, but not just this situation, any situation that comes at them. So distracted though he is, and mapping out whom or what may be on the horizon, coming for them, gunning for them. Who was leading that Nosferatu? Who was that Nosferatu? Who else was involved? Because it was clearly concerted effort. The fact that the assassin has such a flaming belief in the sanctity of their actions, to be so kind as to roll your wits plus either stealth, subterfuge, or insight. And Thirst has been acting up. You want to use one of the other bots?
Okay. I have the same number of dots in insight and subterfuge, so would it really matter which one I choose in this case?
Only in regards to which window you're looking out of.
Probably insight.
Give that lovely beam footage roll.
Lovely.
You remember having an argument
It's
with...
continuing the trend from last week.
You remember having an argument with Faye, Stella. Not an argument that most people think is violent and over the top, but no, it's what you all called any debate, any contentious conversation, you all called it an argument. Your mother and father weren't very argumentative people to begin with. They found a solution, and no matter what anyone else felt or decided, they would get it done. They didn't argue. They said, this is what we're doing, and they put their minds to it and accomplished it. So when you and your sister, of course, rebelled during your teens and then hers, one of the things you all developed was the ability to talk at each other contentiously and debate your viewpoints to win the other person over. And in one of your conversations, one of your debates, one of your arguments, the idea as to what anger actually was. Because Faye started it with, there's no reason to be angry about anything at all. It's the most destructive of feelings. It is. And then Stella, of course, chimed in that anger wasn't actually a feeling. It was a defense of your feelings. It was taking the army across the Rubicon, pulling a Julius Caesar. Anger was there as a shield, not as a sword, to protect your feelings, to protect your soft, exposed moments. That's all it was there for. So it's okay to get pissed off. You, of course, held the middle road. Anger wasn't a shield. It was a sword to avenge the hurt. Anger is what happens when a soldier has their back against the wall and the only way out is through the enemy. And you all debated. You all argued. And the night turned into the day. You all were still arguing at breakfast, and you snuck out to the IHOP there on Addison. Well, Broadway, really, but it's not far from Addison. And you all continued your argument, your debate. And each of you all took from it exactly food for thought that reinforced your own opinion. Because in the process of arguing the usefulness and need of anger, of course, first Stella got angry, then you get angry, then Stella got apologetic, then you got apologetic, which caused you both to cycle back and forth through your own very entrenched senses of anger. And for both of you all, you proved your own point to yourself. Because you were avenging the slight that had been done, and she was defending the hurt that she had felt. And in the midst of that battle, the truth of your own stubborn-headedness rained out. The truth that both of you all were bull-headed individuals. Both of you all were stubborn enough to cause frustration in the world around you and keep going if push came to shove, because you both believed what you were saying. And now you kind of have to rethink that. Because of the chap on the shoulder, that someone shouldn't be able to get that close, almost connected with your shoulder, you whirled a frown on your face and your hand slipping into your pocket where, well, not quite your pocket, but just there at your waist, where you keep all intentions to do harm on a mortal way to disguise the fact that you are in fact undead. In that moment, your anger welled up to act as a shield for your emotions. You don't like being startled or surprised. You don't like people getting close to you. So as your hand rests on that cannon and your fangs have distended and the frown on your face stops the person who was close enough to almost touch you without you realizing they were there until they were close enough to do so, there's a concession that maybe anger is all of the above. Maybe it is a sword, maybe it is a shield, and maybe it is not something that you should invest any energy into, all in the same breath. Hey, I see a couple of people already smoking. You got a light, buddy? The guy before you, he looks exactly what one would imagine Sherlock Holmes would look like if he had been born in America. He looks exactly like what you would expect an outsider, smart individual who believed in deductive reasoning would look like in this crowd of outsiders. His overly long black leather trench coat, his skinny jeans, and his overly processed and styled, mooshed up into a near mohawk hairstyle makes him blend in, as do the huge gauges in his ears and the septum piercing which dangles and bobs as he speaks. There's something not quite right about someone so easily well dressed for this particular niche group of outsiders to have that much acne, but it's all the same. It happens to the best of you. You can't help it, but it makes your skin itch a little bit seeing that much acne that is both overly moist and extraordinarily dry at once. There's something that gives you the ick factor looking into his slightly watery blue eyes. And there's something that gives you the ick factor realizing how thin he is. He's all skin and bones. The relatively skinny fit jeans look slightly baggy on him in all the wrong places. So, buddy, you got a light?
I don't smoke, so no.
Lucio, you know you smoke. You may not keep the habit, but everybody knows you smoke, buddy.
And you know about my habits, exactly.
No.
Who are you?
Well, you did come to the church courtyard a couple of times with me. And you do keep calling my fucking bar. So you want to step out back and have a cigarette? Or do I keep up this ruse?
Lucio is a bit confused, but now slightly interested in what exactly is going on. So he decides to play along and says, "Alright, fine. Let me go find my lighter. I'll meet you out back."
Yeah, sounds like a good idea. Just make sure that you, I didn't bring enough smoke for everybody.
And Lucio will make his way outside.
Going to the back deck of King Iz's condo brings back all the wrong memories at all the right time. The last time you were on a deck during a party like this, you remember the color, the almost bright pink color of the inside of someone's skulls flying out the back of their head, over your jeans, over the edge of the building. You remember the last time you had a private conversation with someone dressed in a trench coat on the back deck at a party.
Ah, yes, good times.
So as you exit, it is impossible for those memories to not float back up. And almost to the exact position of resting against the edge of the roof is where this individual sits, already smoking and blowing smoke rings up into the sky, head back and watching the stars overhead. As you draw closer, they actually stand up. Yeah, I would have came for you sooner, but I got busy.
So, have you been? It's been a while.
It has been. You guys have been busy running from justice and creating your own sort of thing. You guys pissed off the right couple of peoples, I suppose. And so you're back with us.
Somehow, yes. It all came full circle.
It's funny the way that works.
Once again, we managed to kill our way into a promotion.
That's funny. You should mention that. You're not the only ones that are good at killing, and I'm sure you are aware.
I'm very much aware, yes.
Damien and myself spoke with the professor, and there's kind of a way to protect you guys. Damien has his way that he's insisting on doing, that it's going to work. If you make enough official friends, you all will be safe. You'll have enough people that care about your well-being to keep other people from doing other things to you. The professor has his idea, and I don't like it, but when I think about it, it may be the only way. If you all can prove that Bordrev was the one that came for you, no matter how well he's managed to keep his fingers just clean enough and avoid any direct action from Prince Jackson, if you all gave access to your thoughts and to your memories, if he was there, it could be used as proof. It would require giving up your temporary privacy of thought.
That is an extremely risky proposition depending on who exactly is doing the probing.
Yeah, it's funny you should mention it. Ever since Newberry disappeared, there's been various lunatics striving for the crown. And one of them, you're at his party now, to say the least.
So the plan's to have them do it.
Yeah, it'd be two birds with one stone. If Evan successfully does this, and you agree, of course, the professor will back him for becoming the primogen of the Malkavian.
Seems like a win-win deal. I can't possibly see this going horribly wrong.
It would prove that you guys have always been loyal members of the tower. It would prove that despite what everyone is still talking about, you all didn't let things go the way they went on purpose. And it'd be an eyewitness, fully endorsed backing that Borgif is up to no good. There's a lot of pushback. Ballard finally has the okay from Prince Jackson to actually take over as primogen of the Blue Blood. And he's sowing discontent left and right between the Professor and Annabelle, two of the strongest members of the court, so that he can nip at Prince Jackson's heels. If you all were a piece of the action, we'd remove Borgif and get him off my back, which means Khalid would throw in with the Professor and Annabelle and keep Ballard off of everybody else's back. You see how this is shaping up? You all could save a lot of heartache, a lot of future wars and battles with one fell swoop, if you give the okay for that dingbat, that lunatic, to crawl around your minds. And of course it'd have to be at Elysium. And of course it'd have to be this upcoming Elysium.
And when is that?
3 days from now.
I don't like it, but you make some good points. And at this point...
Oh no, don't put that on me. This is not my points to make, but it's the only ones that I see working. Damien, groundswell, guerrilla defense, it works for him. He's loved. Everybody likes baby cores. They even got Jackson on their side. So it's easy to think that things are going to be easy with that sort of aura about yourselves. The Professor's more realistic. Or my way of trying not to think about it, you all could spend some concerted effort in tracking Borgif down and just make him disappear, like the rumor said you all did with several people.
This is not a decision that I alone can make, but as much as I don't like the risk of having someone pry around in my head, I feel at this point it may be one of the only ways to quote-unquote clear our name, so long as they don't do too much poking. And I suppose to make sure they don't do that, we'd better buddy up with them tonight.
Yeah, like I said, the professor's idea is better than mine. It's not like you all could put together and find Bordriff anyway, right? Not like you guys couldn't hunt him down.
It's not that we couldn't. We probably could. It's all the other things that I know are going to fall apart around us if we do decide to pursue this angle.
Well, in the end, you guys gotta make a choice. Whatever it is, you need to do it fast. I've never been able to catch Bordriff in the act. He moves and keeps his hands just clean enough where you know he's responsible, you just can't fucking prove it. No eyewitness ever survives getting on his bad side.
Except me, apparently.
You can break the cycle, as they say. You could finally drag him out into the light. Make it so that, let's go, he's as lucky as you all have been and has more supporters in the government than we know of. Or he just decides to run. Either way, you guys would be safer and have done the impossible. No one that Bordriff has ever set his eyes on has ever seen another night so far.
Proposing a dumb idea just to get it out of the way. Could we possibly do both? Bring him in and also have someone clear our names before we bring him in? So at the very least, there's not as much suspicion around us as we are trying to do our jobs.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you all would volunteer to be hounds again?
Was that not known?
No. Dusabu spoke about leniency and mercy. Professor backed this play. Annabelle was going to back the play, but Ballard had tied our hands with, Azuli and the Bahari. And then Khalid. Surprising everybody, including myself, especially myself. I didn't think he liked you guys too much. Sided with the professor. And Evan. Spoke up. So it came as a surprise. No one ever thinks that guy is up to anything more than just, playing with himself with the musical instruments, with the baby chorus. But he started showing up in the government meetings. These lads, 3-4 months, just showing up, taking up space and time, talking like there was this guy, this gangrel guy. He wasn't Primogen, but he always was in with the gangrel Primogen's corner. Myers, for a gangrel, is really a snazzy dresser. Always came in with suits, ties, glasses, the whole works. But anyway, Klein starts showing up, talking like this guy. Hey, we gotta unite together. We gotta find our way through the darkness into the light. The last speech he gave, it almost got me going. I tell you, it was touching. Talking like no one has ever heard him talk before. And I'm not sure what back room deals with them being made, but people start listening to him more. And finally, the deal's on the table. He helps, the professor backs him. Everybody sides with the professor, will back him for the Primogen seat that had been open without removing Dusable and the Tremere from the table. So, you guys got a lot to decide. I have a few more stops to make over the course of the evening. But whatever you decide, make sure that it's definitive and you are successful. I'm not sure how many times you all can keep dodging whatever bullet is aiming for you, but everybody time runs out eventually.
One quick question before you go. This Evan person, what's he look like so I know who to mosey up to tonight?
Tall guy, dirty blonde. Tonight he's dressed in an open collared, I want to say white, but maybe it's eggshell. Hard to say. He has rainbow fingernail polish on right now. He was wearing a cross, a rosary, and really nice jeans. I didn't pay attention to the footwear. And he was walking with that blonde.
That blonde? You're gonna have to be a lot more specific.
You know the one, cute as a button, looks like Harley Quinn but sane. Really soft and meek, really low voice.
Oh, that one.
Yeah, the only one that's not dressed all in black, like all these other
Gotcha.
posters. Whatever you decide, good luck. I've done my part. Stick around this time if you can, and if you're gonna leave, don't just disappear like thieves in the night. I'll see if I can help you out before you get that desperate. That's what friends and allies are for.
Thank you.
Don't mention it. Or whether I should say forget this ever happened, but it's not gonna matter. And as he disappears, walking back into the condo proper, and the crowd swallowing him up like a undersized pain pill, Kathy's back with the t-shirts. She also has something in her back pocket. And normally you think weapon, definitely weapon, maybe a stake, which is a weapon, but for a specific purpose. But instead, as she shows you the t-shirt, and then the second one, she pulls what's in her back pocket out and hands it to you, Hess.
What is it? Is it the bottle that I was thinking it was, or is it something else?
100%. Except, yes, there are Chinese characters on the side, but there's also an improvement in the graphic design. It's not as homespun as the previous versions of this label has been. And yes, there's Alston and there's Valkyrie, but there's also Gas. It's 3 siblings, red ale, and the production quality of the labeling has grown exponentially.
Keeping her face very neutral, she looks up at Kathy, reaching for one of the shirts and focusing on that first. I mean, I kind of like the way you guys do your shirts now, obviously, because they feel vintage without being vintage already.
Exactly. That's what I keep telling Damien. Nostalgia is in.
Yeah, they kind of feel like those old... Yeah, I don't know if you were around when they used to do the shirts with, like, the artist on them and then, like, the lettering down the side, like TLC and Aaliyah and stuff.
She twists her lips as you say that. Are you serious? I still play Age Ain't Nothing But the Number. The entire album. The way that the producing managed to heighten her voice and give still room for her full range to grow and swell. Oh my God. It's like whoever made the album was madly in love with her. I tell you, it's a love letter from the production to the artist.
It's kind of as one of those moments. Should I tell her? No, I'm just gonna let it go. And she's kind of nods. Yeah, exactly that. But that's the thing. See, so they looked like they were worn and washed, and that you had them for a while, but they were brand new. That's what I'm saying. So I get it about the t-shirts. Damien's a nice dresser and stuff, but don't let him change your style. I mean, this is what we know baby core is for. This is what we've come to love. As far as getting new shirts. The beer, though, I do know some things about the beer. It is a good brand. It really is. It's very special beer, is what I want to say.
Oh God, don't tell me you're one of those that used to drink Budweiser as the champagne of beers.
No. I mean, it's beer that we can drink without any problems.
Seriously? Have you had this before?
I've been full bottles of it before, not this specific vintage, but I know where it comes from.
Oh my God. I thought that was just I heard that you guys do like blood wine, but like, oh my God, like beer? This would be so cool. Why would anyone want to keep this a secret? Is it like not done? Is it not ready yet? Is it not ready for public consumption?
The point is, the reason why it's so secret is because it's very hard to make, as far as what I can tell. And it's very, like VIP type. You gotta be somebody special to have it in and a connection to get it. So the fact that he's trying to get Damien to take it up to Milwaukee makes sense a little bit to me, because it's very special, but at the same time, the fact that it's Ballard, that doesn't sit right with me. I mean, again, don't want to rock the boat. I mean, as long as it's not a problem, but I don't know. I think I gotta talk to Damien a little bit. But yeah, that's what this is.
Oh my god. I normally don't drink beer, but I kind of want to try it. You think they won't? You don't think they'll miss a bottle, do you? Like I said, we got 2 cases.
Out of character, do I know for a fact that if they are promised 2 cases, that they are going to expect that not to have that 1 bottle missing? And because I don't want to get her into any trouble, basically.
A drought of whole, unfractionated blood averages anywhere from $1,500 to $4,500. There are roughly 3 draughts in each standard 12-ounce bottle, times 48. It is either a significant value that they'll be bringing back, or a significant value being traded for something else. And yes, 3 draughts anywhere from $1,500 to $4,500. That is transportable, drinkable by nearly every clan. You're easily talking a minimum of $9,000 per bottle.
So, in response to that, do you think they'll miss it? Ash is going to break that math down for her.
Oh my god, I don't even want to hold this anymore. $10,000 per bottle? Are you serious? Oh my god.
Unfortunately, I have somebody that works close to that sort of, that knows what the street value of this sort of thing is. I would put it back if I were you. Just call it a favor if you want, but I would put it back if I were you.
Oh my god.
I won't tell. I never saw it. And she hands it back to her. I promise you I never saw it. I mean, did I still have that bottle? No, that got blown up in the restaurant that night. Yeah, I would put it back.
Oh, no.
Like I said, I never saw it.
No, don't even. And she slips it back into her back pocket and pulls her t-shirt down back over it. I will be right back.
You do that. And then as Gabby walks away again, Ash is going to look around a little bit and see if maybe Miriam is back or any of the other people that she was supposed to try to talk to are around. But I think that was it. There were only like 4 people they mentioned.
Yep, and she's taking most of your time. The party is still in full bloom, but it's the sort of full bloom that you know that soon the lightest of lightweights will be going down. And normally in a house party, when the lightweight goes down, is because they've done something stupid or have gotten overexcited and done something even more stupid, or just punched the largest person who may or may not be having a bad day and they're put to sleep.
Yeah, so if she's going to look around and see if she sees any of the other 3.
Not right off the bat because of her height. What is most glaringly is that she doesn't see anyone from her coterie. Not one.
That weird. Not a fan. So she's gonna start kind of heading back towards the entrance to that hideaway that Genghis had shown them, hoping that if she's heading in that direction, that she'll run into one of the other three so they can kind of maybe duck back downstairs before things get crazy.
So instead of going all the way to the back,
what she learned.
So instead of going all the way to the back of the house and out onto the deck, you head towards Genghis's room. As you're nearly there and just next to the bathroom, this pimply-faced, rail-thin individual slides past you. Pardon me, I'm just gonna go that way over there. You look nice. It's a good look on you, tired and a little under the weather.
She gives him a real, hard look, oh, we talk about looks? But she's gonna, raises a brow. Thank you.
Don't
I'd make it work for me.
You do. Everybody likes that about you, Hestia.
Wait, we've met? How do I know you?
Maybe I'm the man of your dreams. Maybe you like coming to my bar when you probably should. And maybe we got friends in common.
Hey, it's you. Haven't seen you in a while.
You all don't keep in contact with your friends. Anything can happen when you take your eye off the ball. Luckily, I'm tougher than the average bear. You know what they say. If you see me in the forest fighting a bear...
Help the bear.
No, get a gun and stop the fucker from eating me.
That is not where I thought that was going, but okay.
Life is like a box of chocolate. It comes at you pretty fast. You never know what you're gonna, end up with.
Especially if there's... I forgot where I was going with that, but anyway. So, what's new with you?
I got a couple of things I need to do, but you happen to be in my path, so I said hi. You need to, you 2, you 3, you 6, I forget how many of you fuckers that is, need to put your heads together and get this solved up. Tell them to go with option 2, or there's always my option 3. He's out back. And he continues on his way, disappearing into the crowd.
What? I'm not gonna try to figure that out. And then she starts heading towards the back, because that's what he said. The person that she's looking for is towards the back, even though she doesn't know exactly if he's knowing what he's talking about.
I'm Lucy on the back deck. Seeing him there, you immediately start thinking of how to get rid of a body and make it look like a suicide. Luckily, there's no one sprawled beneath him, but he is nearest that back left edge of the roof. Same position he was in when dealing with, well,
she calls out to him just above so that he can hear, but not enough to really get everybody on the deck to turn around. I'm having a bit of deja vu there, so why don't you come this way?
I promise nothing bad happened.
Yeah, okay. I'll take your word for it. But I think there are some things I learned tonight that we need to talk about.
Well, don't keep me waiting.
Also, probably should find Lolly and Miriam, but they can wait for a minute.
And speaking of Lolly and Miriam, staring up at the sky, at the stars, because you're not even staring at the sky itself. All of that inky blackness between the stars is utterly irrelevant. You are in a moment of safety, security, and soundness that defies reason. You are standing next to and touching the most dangerous kindred you have ever met. And not in the careless, callous way that this coterie of individuals around you sprawls chaos out into the world. Evan is the most dangerous kindred you have met, because no matter who is in the driver's seat, no matter which persona, which altar, which wholly new identity springs into the fore, nearly every one of their actions are purposeful and thought out meticulously. The risk weighed and the cost tabulated up towards whether it's worth the effort or not. And no matter who is in the driver's seat, no matter which altar, which creed identity, which other sense of himself there is, you always rate highly on that value and worth. And you are sure now, as you stand here, that over the last few weeks, their presence has never been that far from you. You realize that while you've been keeping your distance, didn't mean they were. You know, Outlaw, that I wouldn't ever stand by doing nothing when my friends and my family are in danger, right?
She can't always save the drowning.
You don't have to let them drive the boat. That way they won't capsize, they won't go overboard, and they won't be drowning. I'm sorry.
Why are you sorry?
You should always say sorry when you apologize. You should always say sorry when you mean it. And you should always mean you're sorry when your actions are difficult for those that matter. So in advance, I'm sorry.
It's okay. She will back away from the ledge and kind of gently pull him along with her, or attempt to anyway.
No, not yet. Not yet. there's a shooting star that's going to happen, and we need to make a wish. And I'm not sorry for thinking about being famous. I'm not sorry for every quiet voice saying that we could not worry about anything else. Our forever would just keep going. It makes good sense. It's just not enough. Being famous, being in the local news, and our forever should keep going because we wouldn't be here. But then they, and he points down beneath his feet into the house, would still be here without us. They wouldn't have anyone to protect them. They would be left alone to their own devices and doing the very wrongest things for all of the rightest of reasons in the wrongest of ways. They need... And he looks up at the sky and he points towards from where you're standing there on Milwaukee. He points northeast, and sure enough, right at the edge of the field of your vision, there is a shooting star, a meteor falling to the earth. And he closes his eyes, and you see his lips moving, but you can't puzzle what it is that he's saying, because he's not saying it, he's just mouthing it, mouthing his wish out into the void. Okay, Law. And he steps down and finally acquiesces to you pulling him away. Are you sorry?
No, I'm sorry.
I have a feeling, I don't know for sure, that I was hoping you'd say no, because that would mean I wouldn't have to do what I have to do to protect you, to protect me, to protect us. But you said yes. And so I guess I will. And so I'm sorry.
She just kind of stares into his eyes, and that's it. She doesn't say anything.
He takes your hand, doesn't ask, doesn't pull you to him. He uses your hands to pull himself closer to you. Law, it's okay. It's not your fault.
Okay.
No, you don't get it. It's okay. It really is not your fault.
I said it was okay.
But you don't believe that. You need to understand that it is in fact okay, and it is not your fault.
I start believing in things, then everything will get worse.
But everything gets worse before it gets better.
Not everything gets better.
Everything gets better. And it's not your fault.
You said that.
And you still don't believe that.
Because I don't know what it is.
He pauses and holds up a finger, pointing back toward the ladder you all walked up, that you climbed up to the roof, into the very arms of the air, a half a step, a half an inch, almost going up and over. It would be the most natural of things, because gravity is a natural law. And it is always trying to keep you down. It is always trying to pull you through the firmament beneath your feet. It would be the most natural of things. And then you hear Hesher's voice.
I know that's not my fault.
Everything adds or subtracts from what comes after everything. And someone, usually us, must take responsibility for not guiding those around us away from the precipice. Away from going over, away from embracing that temporary feeling of flight.
That snowball's been rolling down a hill too steep for too long, and it's too fast, and I can't stop it.
But you can throw a log in the way, causing the snowball to leap into the sky and break apart before crashing into 100 million pieces.
Or it could absorb it and become more dangerous.
We are all in the midst of danger. Most of us choose to be there through our inability to believe in anything and everyone else but ourselves. It's funny. When you did the worst thing that your life could ever think would be the worst, you were there. And when you've done the best thing you can, you were there. And when you broke my heart, you break your heart and do the worst thing for your soul, you were there. No matter where you go, there you are.
I didn't want to break anyone's heart.
They're fragile things, but they can be put back together, including all of their mini pieces, all of their many million pieces. And especially the lost ones. You could feel those spaces. And we're not talking about me right now. We're not talking about you right now. And he points toward the ladder again.
Are you telling me to go?
You're needed. They need a voice of reason. And if not you, then who? And if not now, then when? And all of those will happen when I least can bear it. all of those many moments of you leaving me again. What happened when I'm not strong enough to watch you walk away?
I don't want to walk away right now.
Of course not. It won't hurt me nearly as much. It won't take a larger piece of my heart, my soul, and my mind if you dare leave now. But it will hurt more if you wait. If I grow accustomed to your calm and your security and all of the soft, fulfilling things that you bring into my existence. And he steps back up onto the ledge.
I don't want you to be on the edge. I'll go.
No, don't go. Watch me go.
She will stare into his eyes again and try to read if he's about to jump off the building or not.
Oh, he's considering it with every iota that he can manage. Contemplating angle and drag coefficient and G's his body would be under because you fall until you reach gravitational force, and he's contemplating the acceleration and it's time. It is definitely time. And he looks down and you can hear him more so than see him contemplating the street 45 feet below. And he's contemplating something else, almost as if he's seeing two potential futures meld and move and overlay and bounce off each other inside his gaze.
You know, wherever you go, I go. Wherever I go, you go. This won't be forever. Or maybe it will be forever. But I guess I have to go now.
Astra, Lucio, as you all are talking, Lolly comes down the ladder on the side of the building from the roof above your head.
And her face is streaked with tears.
Lucio looks at Lolly and then looks to Hestia and says, "Oh, so you're not gonna assume that she killed someone?"
It's because she doesn't like it when we kill people, so why would she kill somebody? And then she turns to Lolly. Okay, who made you cry? Who am I going to beat up? Because we can't have you crying.
I made me cry.
Okay, well then I can't beat you up though, so that's not gonna work, but I don't like it. Alright. It makes me think something sad happened and I don't know about it and I don't.
And speaking of
I hope
sadness,
that you're not.
being this close to a person who's so touch-starved and needing comfort, it feels a little difficult, feels a little tight, Because while the knowledge is there, Miriam, that you will in fact own this person with just a hair more attention, just a hair more investment of effort. There is that quote from The Little Prince. Whatever you tame, and you become responsible for. So what is it that you do, Miriam? Do you take them? Do you enjoy them? Or do you set them free?
So she will actually do possibly a little of both. She'll let the girl, get the comfort she needs, and then once she pulls back, she will rummage in her pouch and pull out a business card, and on the back of it, she will sketch just a quick whatever the appropriate flower would be for potential acolyte, and ask her to give that to Urzuli when she sees her at work the next day.
You might as well have bought them a new car or a home, or gotten down on your knees and offered them a ring to prove to the world that they are yours. The look in their eyes, the tears welling up just at the corners of their eyes. It is a beauty too bright to not blind. It is the perfect moment and completely unexpected. You have wounded them to the quick, and in the same thrust managed to invigorate and enliven them like nothing else has. A small token, a gift, an understanding, and help, aid to finally be worthy enough of their employer. It's heady stuff. It's the stuff that brings a tear to the heart and a smile to the face. It's the moment of reinvention and self-discovery that you have watched happen over a countless number of acolytes to the Baham. It is very much a completion of the indoctrination cycle. Breaking an acolyte down so they can find their true sense of self and build themselves back up from it. And as much as you've kept your distance, and as much as you deny to yourself and to the world at large that you are in fact part of the Bahari that have been purged from the city, how does Miriam feel with staring that in the face and realizing that it is in fact a mirror?
She remembers, this, aside from the trying to kill herself thing, this was me. I was lost. But yeah. Mixed feelings, I suppose.
You're not sure when you separated from them and where you wandered through the party their warmth than yours, their understanding of things and lack of understanding of things, and where they are in the world now, set on a path that you are sure will eventually swallow them whole. They'll be the better for it. But there's a lot there. Heading out the back to catch a little bit of air, you find Hestia, Lolly, Lucia. Is your face haggard? Is it blood-filled? Are there tears streaming, or is there just the need for air?
Oh, I would say being as composed as she usually is, just the typical look of, a hint of a smile and the general calmness.
So Miriam's joining with the rest of us now.
Yes.
As Lucio sees her join, he again turns to Hestia and says, "Oh, come on now, that is definitely the face of someone who just killed someone."
Well, I would normally argue with you. I'm curious, because it's either I just got laid or I killed somebody all over their face.
Neither.
Somehow, I believe it, but I don't. Anyway, we might want to duck out before this party gets a little too crazy, because it's right at that balance of ain't nothing bad happening yet, and shit's about to go down. And we have some things we might want to discuss, because I learned some things, and I was going to tell Lucy about them, but then Molly came downstairs, and you're here, so I should probably only have to say them once.
Speaking of saying things only once, Miriam, as you just said, Lolly came down here. You all are on the top of the building. There's nothing above you.
Miriam will look up.
Just the roof. There's a letter there on the side, but who would go to a rooftop at a party this high off the ground to begin with?
Crazy people. He's just not even going to question it.
Well, Hess, don't keep us waiting.
So are we heading back to the hidey hole, or are we staying up here?
Oh, you want to leave now?
What?
Is this a conversation better suited for the hidey hole?
She kind of looks around to see if anybody's close enough to be listening.
No.
Well, I mean, the issues that we've had recently with rats, it gives me a little bit of pause, but I suppose if we're quiet enough, we could have this conversation here. So, Ballard is sending Baby Chorus to Milwaukee with 2 cases full of the lovely mixture that our friends from Chinatown made. And insisting that they take it.
Who is insisting that who takes it?
Ballard. Remember big fat banker guy that wanted to out the kindred to the rest of the world.
Yes.
That guy. Yeah. 2 cases. Full of those bottles. To Milwaukee with Damien. And I'm sure you know what the street value of something that large is.
Oh, yes. I know exactly how much that would go for.
So that's happening. And the bottles, I got to look at one, and they have upped the production value of them significantly. They have new graphics. This specific vintage was 3 Siblings Red Ale, and the 3 siblings in question were people we are fairly familiar with, because we were them for a little while.
Wait, what?
I am horribly confused.
You weren't here for this, Miriam, but Lucille will remember that at one point when we had the lodestone, that we were 3 different kindred and saw their memories the night they got captured.
Yes, I remember that.
Well, those 3 siblings are the siblings on the beer bottle.
And now we know what happened to them.
So we knew kind of what happened to them before now, but that's where those bottles came from. But if what happened the other day happened, where did these 2 cases come from? Did they have it before all that happened, or I don't know. So yeah, that's going on. I think Ballard has a tie in with the Chinatown connection, as it were.
With the Wong
Probably
Bar.
not excited. Yeah, probably not excited that that's ended.
My takeaway from this is that he's also got a vested interest in creating his own blood trade, it seems. And intends to get some people hooked on it in Milwaukee. Interesting. Speaking of Ballard, Martin just paid me a visit.
You
Oh,
should
I'm
tell
sorry. Go
Bronwyn.
ahead.
You should tell Bronwyn. That's all she says.
Do they know a Bronwyn?
Lucio asks Lolly, who's Bronwyn?
She's part of the blood trade.
Has Lolly ever met her or seen her?
I don't know. Assuming that she's Malkavian, I had assumed some at least passing familiarity. Of course, I don't know
Well, the reason why I asked,
what she is in this setting as opposed to what she is in the book either. So
the reason why I asked is if Lolly describes her, Lucio will know her as the sommelier. Not a sommelier. She is the sommelier.
I'm sure since Sun was all about family and community and all that, that she's probably at least seen her, maybe never spoken to her or anything, but...
So she sets out describing the sommelier. You've never heard of the name Brownwin, but you have heard of the sommelier. Sephora has had the opportunity to employ or otherwise utilize the foundational member of the sommeliers of the U.S. and globally, the number one taste purveyor for the circulatory system, the sommelier.
So you're saying we should bring this up with the higher-ups in the circulatory system, then?
I mean, could. They might be offended. Depends on what you want to do with the information.
It's certainly one avenue. I believe there is a meeting coming up relatively soon. If I'm able to attend it, I can bring it up.
Okay.
Speaking of meetings, I met Martin earlier. He was here. And he mentioned some things regarding Ballard as well. That Ballard has officially taken over the position of Ventru Primogen and is currently attempting to drive a wedge between the professor and Annabelle.
And you know, every time there's a vote, he's going to vote against us because he knows we know things about him.
That also brings me to a proposition that was brought forth about how to deal with the whole Bordruff and our whole situation with the tower. Basically, 3 ideas were proposed to me. Martin passed along the message. Damien's idea, the professor's idea, and his own idea. Damien's idea is just make friends and get enough people to care about us that they don't want us to fail. Martin's idea is for us to hunt down Bordruff and drag him before the council of the city, or the Primogen of the city, and thereby prove our innocence and once again save the day from something. And then there's Critias's idea, which is perhaps the most dangerous, but also quite possibly the most all-encompassing, which is to have Evan, the prospective Malkavian Primogen, dig through our minds to verify that Bordruff did in fact attack us. And this would be done before the Elysium, the next Elysium, within 3 days. In doing so, it would reveal Bordruff's threat to the city, prove our own innocence, cement his position as Primogen, and create essentially a network of powerful allies that would have our back.
I don't know that Evan would help. Besides, you really want a Malkavian tinkering with your mind.
Not at all. I thought it was a terrifying idea, but there is some merit to it. You, however, seem to not think he would help.
I'm supposed to help. You made me leave so I could come help. She says as she wipes blood off her eyes from with the back of her hoodie sleeve.
So the short and the long of it is we have 3 days to pick one and execute it, or come up with our own plan.
While hiding from Bordriff the whole time, because once Damien and baby Chorus leave from Milwaukee, we're kind of ass out and on our own, except for what small amount of friendships we just made.
Genghis is supposed to stay here, though, right?
I don't know if you know this about Genghis. And yes, I trust him somewhat, but I think it's the first sign of danger when it's something attacking him and it wants us. I don't really think he'll stand in its way necessarily.
He's also a big poser.
But yeah, I think that's kind of what it comes down to. We have to figure out which of those three things is better. But it seems like two of them are kind of running concurrently with each other, which is the make friends thing, and we were trying to do that tonight, so...
Wait. What's in 3 days? I wasn't listening.
Elysium.
And what's supposed to happen?
They'll read our minds at Elysium.
Okay.
Okay.
You said Evan specifically?
That was the professor's suggested option, considering it would create or cement his position in doing so as the Malkavian Primogen. He would be our ally, he would be Critias's ally, Critias is our ally.
Critias already likes you, though.
Yes, which is why I said Critias is our ally, but essentially we are creating a network of people who are going to be nice to us, as it were.
There's a problem with this theory.
And that is?
That I'm here.
And why is that a problem?
Evan and I have history. And other people know we have history. Which makes anything he does suspect in regards to you.
And what exactly is your history?
You don't really want to go into it right now. Just suffice it to say that the naysayers you have are going to say it louder if he gets involved on your side, as long as I'm involved. And you never know which Evan you're going to get.
That catches Lucia's attention as he looks back up at Lolly and says, come again?
How do you mean?
Which Evan?
There are a lot of Evans. They're not all named Evan. In fact, only one of them is named Evan.
Explain, please.
Evan is home to a lot of different Evans. It's like here's a facet of Evan, and that's its own thing. Here's another facet of Evan, and that's its own thing. There's never a whole Evan. There's just parts of Evan.
And with that fact sitting there, the unvarnished, unmasked truth of the situation, the coterie is surrounded on all sides. There's nothing but danger ahead for them, nothing but danger behind them. The decision as to what to do to best remain unliving, to remain undead, to remain this side of the grave, is not as easily reached as one would expect. And as that conundrum sits there and they plot, and they plan, and debate, and attack, and see which way seems most viable for them, you can hear screaming from inside. The sort of screaming that someone saw something or did something unexpected. Drawn though you are, filled with curiosity though you are, you know running into your safe haven would be a bad idea. Too many people are aware, too many people are running around, and the screams themselves demand attention. Moving through the party towards the scream, you all realize that Evan is climbing down from the roof through the front window. A misplaced step, a loosely held grip, and even for Kindred, falling from 2 stories is not something that you walk off. The fact that they hung and climbed through the previously closed front window speaks volumes as to what sort of kindred they might be. And realizing the safest way forward is putting your lives and your minds in the hands of someone who would do so. It fills the body with a chill. Because they're safe, and then there's never having been put in danger. He was dangerous, even though he is the safest option. And on that thought, I'd like to thank you all for a lovely episode, and I will see you all next week in the epilogue of Soup City Sins. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night, all.